Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, it's Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 6, Episode 9, titled Sympathy for the Devil. Air date November 3rd, 2008, and the synopsis is:
Jamie and Haley worry that Nathan might get injured in a sling ball. Brooke is so stressed out by Sam's misbehavior that Owen's efforts to win her back seem wasted. Lucas agonizes over whether and how to write the key script scene. Julian demands Q's death, and then Peyton puts off telling Lucas about her LA affair too long.
I don't really know how it's an affair.
Right, yeah, that's just
affair. Affair is when two people are with somebody else, or somebody is with somebody else.
Yeah, so we start off with Brooke working on a new dress designed based off of Peyton's ruined wedding dress.
I was so happy that she was sketching and stuff because she hasn't been for a while. She kind of lost the passion. So it was nice to actually see her do.
And Sam walks out shocked to see Brooke inspired by the dress, but Brooke says she's not. And Sam argues that she is.
And apparently it took her 72 hours to stitch Peyton's wedding dress.
Yeah. And Sam asks if Brooke's still mad, and she says yes, by saying she's still grounded. And then Sam asks Brooke what's her version of grounded, and Brooke says it's 1 week for exposing a 5-year-old to depravity, another week for letting some skeevy, and then she put 2 words together with brat, the old outdated word for transgender. And she goes on to say how Sam let the kids ruin Payne's wedding dress, and they're going to add on another week for throwing an underage keg party in her foster parents' upscale boutique.
Which is good on Brooke to ground her.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like Brooke never really was grounded. Remember the first time she was grounded was by Karen.
Yeah. And she made her clean basically everything in the house, but I don't think she really makes them do anything besides they're, not going anywhere. And then Sam asks if that's it, and Brooke tells her, she's not supposed to be happy about that.
Yeah, but remember when Brooke was happy that she was grounded by Karen? Because she finally felt loved. Because she said, if your parents ground you, it's because they love you.
Right.
Well, obviously Sam feels the exact same way because she was never grounded. She was only kicked out. So, which, I mean, let's be honest, I would rather be grounded than kicked out. So you would feel a, type of way to be grounded instead of always being kicked out.
Right, but I just wondered when she asked, is that it, meaning that she probably had some punishments before that was a lot worse than what Brooke's given her?
Probably, because, I mean, all Brooke did was just ground her. It wasn't like, you're going to be a maid to me and everyone else and all of this. Yeah, and also, like, you're not going to get beaten and that stuff.
Yeah, and Sam says too that she thought she was going to get another week by for what her friend did in the bathroom sink.
And she's like, what? She's like, oh, you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And then there's a knock at the door. She yells at Sam that this is not over, calling her young lady, sounding like an actual mom. And then Sam yells back through her bedroom door that she didn't think it was, calling her an old lady. So Brooke is so frustrated.
I thought it was funny when she's like, don't kill the child, don't kill the child. Yeah. It was so funny.
And then she opens the door rapidly, yelling what to see to Owen. To see it's Owen, and he asks where's Brooke, and she says that she killed her and ate her bleeding heart for breakfast, and she's still hungry. So Owen says that if she sees her, tell her he enjoyed cleaning up Sam's palooza with her last night, and he planned on bringing her a gift every day until she's ready to reconsider him. And that's when she gets a bouquet of flowers from him, and he says that she'll get a gift whether she likes it or not. And then she makes list off her jewelry, chocolate, purse, and flower preferences. And she says that the sunflowers are nice. And then Ethan gets home. Haley tells him he got back just in time because she made breakfast, a lot of it.
I thought it was hilarious how much she made. And he's like, for what, hibernation?
Mm-hmm.
And then she said that she saw his slam ball schedule. And it looked pretty grueling, so she's tacked up.
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was funny was because Jamie was right there. He was giving Jamie all the, like, most of the food. And he's like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Haley, like, looks back at him, and it's, like, clearly, like, mostly gone.
Yeah, she knows
It was,
that.
yeah, it was funny. And it's like, but also Jamie, like, if Nathan can't even eat all that, Jamie is definitely not going to eat all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Haley said that she only basically wanted to kind of fatten him up so he would have some padding if he fell and got hurt.
Yeah, but like the thing is like, even if she tried to fatten him up, I don't know if it would really work because Nathan is always working out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he just lays around and, you know, doesn't work out, so he's not fit. Like, it's not really going to harm him because he's just going to go work out right after this. So it's not doing anything to fatten him up because he's not going to get fat unless he's, you know, misses workouts and lays around all day, but he doesn't do that. He's always active.
Yeah. And then Jamie thinks that Nathan's going to get a trophy too, but Nathan explains to him that they don't do that in sandball.
I thought it was so cute when he called him Little Bear.
Mm-hmm.
It was cute.
And then
yeah. So he said basically for the trophies, he said, "Oh, I guess you're just gonna have to keep reminding me how good I am." I thought that was cute too.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously Nathan's biggest fan is Jamie.
And then Lucas walks into his room to ask Peyton how she's feeling because she's, you know, hungover from last night, a trick.
I thought this was very, very, very weird.
That she didn't tell him about Julian?
Well, because Lucas says, what was your first impression of Julian last night? Which is a valid question. But it goes into her reliving her and Julian, like of the flashback. But then when it comes back out of the flashback, it's not her answering him. It doesn't even have anything to do with it. And I'm like, we just left on a question. And she doesn't even answer the question.
Right.
Like, does that make any sense? Like, for the writing purpose, how does that make, like, tell me how that makes sense that you're going to ask a question and you're going to come out of a flashback and not answer the question.
Right.
It was really stupid. I'm like, then why ask the question? Because a normal person is going to want to know the answer to that. I mean, it would have been one thing if she would have come out of it and been like, I don't remember him at all. Like, you know, just like something like that. Of like, because she was so hungover or something that she doesn't have a clear head. Well, that would make more sense of her trying to answer the question than not even answering at all.
Well, didn't she say that Julian was charismatic or something like that?
I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Like, it was a very long flashback too. I didn't really care for that either.
Right.
And all I can say is Peyton moved on real fast. Because it was the next day.
Yeah, and
she meets Julian.
Yeah, and I didn't like that because now kind of erased the fact that, like, she was basically waiting for Lucas to basically come back to her the whole time that they're apart when she was in LA. Like, she was so, you know, so hung up over him, and he was with Lindsay. So now it seems like that they kind of both moved on and then came back together.
Yeah, because it always, like in season 5, they made it like Lucas is a jerk for moving on so fast. And, you know, like, yeah, you feel sorry for him for a second. And then, you know, now he's with Lindsay. So who really cares? Well, and now then you feel bad for grieving Peyton. But Peyton was not grieving, apparently. Like, it's really like messed up of how they wrote season 5 for us to kind of hate Lucas in a sense and feel bad for Peyton, because Lucas moved on. But the foreshadow of it is she moved on just as quick. Actually, she kind of moved on quicker because he was still, even doing the book, he was still kind of hung up on it. It was, so it's just like really weird how it's like, oh, remember, because she even, I think, was mad when she went to see him and, she saw him and Lindsay, but it's like, but even in that night, you moved on just as quick. It's like, so you like, remember, and she would always harp on the fact that he is with Lindsay and all of this. And it's like, what I don't understand how you can justify this now. Like the fact that you went after him about how he was with Lindsay and oh my God, and all of this pity party when you were with Julian. Like at the same time. I don't understand this at all. Like, oh, just because you and Julian didn't make it the couple years that him and Lindsay made it, like it doesn't make any sense. And all it means is that Julian was a little smarter and got rid of you faster than Lindsay got rid of Lucas. Like, that's all that meant. Like, was that Lindsay was still in the game, not when she was going to win, but Julian was out. And that's all that means. And so, what was she mad when she came back and, he was still with Lindsay and she wasn't with Julian? Like, I also don't like that in the flashbacks of season 5, which are the same dang flashbacks that they show here, which was actually really annoying. But it was the same flashbacks, but remember in season 5, they cut it off as she's walking down, gets yelled at by that guy to get people's stuff. And you can see that she's in pain and we feel sorry for her. But it's like, she, met someone else and, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't like how they kind of cut off that. Because obviously, yeah, they didn't know that they were going to write Julian in, but I didn't like it because we had to see it, all the flashbacks of season 5, which were these flashbacks, and it was Peyton with nobody. Peyton just had to live in this. Well, now all of a sudden she didn't have to. Like,
yeah, she probably had she probably and Julian probably ended things like way before we saw her at the beginning of season 5 when she was crying and talking to Brooke. Or maybe it was that night that Julian broke up with her, the next day or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so.
Yeah, because now it's like, when did Julian and her break up? Clearly, yeah, we know that they broke up, but like they never really said when. So yeah, it could have been that night that she was, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And it's like, okay, so you're gonna come home and mess up Lucas's? Like, and the whole thing is too, like when she came back to get Lucas back, like she was with Julian. Like before that, it's like, I mean, I guess she would have, of course, given it all up, her relationship with Julian if Lucas came down, but I don't know, just kind of weird, you know what I mean? Like, you were in a relationship, so, because they always made it seem like she wasn't, like, oh, she's been single for these 3 years and we got to feel sorry for her, which we did. But now it's not that. I don't know. I don't like it. Like, I get in season 5, they didn't know that they were going to write Julian in. But I don't like how they wrote this.
Right.
I mean, I get he could have just been like they could have just thrown it in as he's just like a one-night stand. But not an actual relationship.
Yeah, and it seems like she was going to tell Lucas about Julian, but then he kept going on about needing to write the script for the movie.
Oh, he's obsessed with this.
Yeah, and apparently Julian's already had a studio interested, and he wants the first draft in 3 weeks. That doesn't seem like a lot of time at all.
Well, don't sound like that for Lucas, though, because Lucas is a very slow writer.
Mhm.
So 3 weeks for him is very short.
It doesn't seem like it in this episode. It seemed like he was stressing, but he did finish in time, except for the one scene, of course. So, then, yeah, he gives Julian the script, tells him he barely even got sleep. And Julian says you can't even tell from the script it's really good, even though he just glanced at it really quick. Lucas says it's not great, and Julian says he's very close to great. He'd say one scene away from great, and he thinks he knows which scene it is. Case murder. And then Lucas says he knows he wanted him to show it, but he thought that maybe it'd be more effective if they find out after the fact. And Julian says he doesn't want to flaunt his experience, but it doesn't get much better than seeing a man kill his brother. So Lucas says that the man who murdered him was his uncle. The man who was murdered was his uncle. And Julian says, which is why he thinks that he wouldn't write the scene. It's too close, he's too close to it. But their audience needs to base what happened, even if you can't.
Yeah. And then he said, if you don't do it, then they'll find someone who can. Like, and here you go. Like, then Julian's kind of going back on his deal that he supposedly made with Lucas. But I do get it, because, like, if it's in the book, then, and Lucas can't write it, then someone needs to.
Yeah, they have a time crunch.
But also, here's the thing for Lucas. I don't understand this at all. Like, Lucas sold the book, right? He knows what's in the book. So my thing is, and they're asking you to write it. My thing is, like, it's in the book. That's what they want, because it is kind of juicy, obviously. And the fact that he's like, oh, like, let's not put it in here. You wrote it. You put it into a book, and then you sold it as a movie. Like, you can't then be like, I'm going to take these things out of it. No, you put them in the book to begin with. If you didn't want people to know about what happened to Keith, then you should not have ever put it into a book for anyone to even just read, because he's talking about, like, oh, how he doesn't want, like, Dan to have any feelings in the movie. Well, do you think that when they read the book that people don't have their idea and their own thoughts about Dan? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that every single person that read that book is going to just immediately think, like, Dan has no emotion or any empathy or anything? Like, I'm sorry, but there are going to be maybe some percent of people that might think that he does, because people all have all different ideas of people and killers and all of that. So, like, if Lucas really thinks that he only wrote a book and everyone is supposed to just think how he thinks, that's not how life works. People have their own different views of scenarios. And so, for him to just be like, oh, well, that's not how the audience should be. Sorry, but you wrote a book about it, so you have to put it into the movie.
Well, when movies are adapted from books, a lot of things are not included that were even important to the storyline to begin with. So I'm not surprised that Lucas will want to keep something out.
Right, but if the producers want that, because it was a major part that changed everyone's lives, they're going to want it in there. Also, but my point is, for Lucas to be like, well, I don't want, because the whole thing is he doesn't want Dan to have a feeling. Like, he doesn't want people to feel for him. Well, my point is, you wrote a book about it. Do you really think when people read the book, they didn't have their own thoughts about it? Like, that are different from yours? Like, yes, they did. So watching a movie about it, do you really think that's going to change? Like, I'm sorry, but people have different theories on killers. So I'm sorry, but that's just the case. And when you write a book about it, people are going to have different views than you as the writer. Like, I'm not saying that, like, if you write a book, that every single person that reads the book is going to have the same viewpoint as you. They're not. Some people may think that this person is a villain. Some people may think that he's this, and they're going to have their own judgments on it. They're not going to think exactly how you think. Not every single person in the world does.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. He just doesn't want to write that scene because it's too hard for him.
No, but he also, in this episode, talks about how he doesn't want people to
say Dan's human.
Yes, he doesn't want, it's about Dan and how, and I'm like, but again, you wrote a book about it. So, like, that's my thing. It's just annoying. Like, if you truly didn't want people to feel that way about Dan, you should never have wrote this in your book.
Yeah, it's just like I just went through my head of all the books and movies I've seen, like Twilight, Maze Runner, Hunger Games, and Divergent. There were major changes from the books to the movies. Like I think I would say Divergent's the most different from its books completely. So I was mad about that. They completely cut out like a plot line of one character, so he wasn't even in the movie at all, even though he had a bigger role in the last movie than the previous movie we met him in. So yeah, I've been mad when stuff was changed or cut out too. So, and it seems like with the screen play that Lucas writes, it's basically like, completely like what the show was. So it doesn't make anything change, but yeah.
Well, and also too, like, fans do get mad when things aren't adding up. Like you felt. Well, I also know that when they, because obviously Gossip Girl was created from the book. But the thing is, I remember the creators talking about how when they casted Chase, he did not have the same, what was it, eye color or something as Nate, and people and fans went crazy because they did not like that at all. And it's like, okay. I mean, it's like they were so upset about that, just like one minor detail. It wasn't even about like what his characteristic was. It was just one thing. And they said that fans were upset about it. And it's like, and obviously they still went through with Chase, but it's like, so of course, so if you don't have this in your movie, people are really going to be upset. Like if they're upset about one little thing about Gossip Girl, you think that people aren't going to have their opinion about your movie if you don't put this scene in there? Plus, think about it. Even with One Tree Hill, it was a huge part of the show. It changed a lot of people, including Lucas. Like Lucas was like the major point and character that changed the most because of it. And if you're going to put that into your book, then they're going to want that in the movie. And especially if it's a murder, do you really think you're not going to want to put that into your movie? I'm sorry, but if like, yes, like other minor, like if you're a producer and you're like, oh, in this book, there's just some minor little details. Do we need them? No. But if it's something of a murder, as a producer, you're going to say yes. Like it's a murder. People get juicy into that. Like, think about it. Like all those true crimes, people love that stuff. So it's like, they're going to love that. They're going to love that. It's also about like love stories going on in the book, but they're also going to love this because it's a twist. And so yeah, they're going to want that in the movie. So for him to be like, oh, that shouldn't be in there. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have wrote it in there because it happened. It was in the book, and whatever producers read this or whatever, they're going to want it. And fans are going to want to see it in a movie. Sorry. Maybe not fans of One Tree Hill, but fans of your book.
Yeah, I think you would have been better thinking about writing it if you had like more than 3 weeks to do it too.
No, I just don't think he really wanted to write it.
Yeah, I think so, but I think he just would have felt less pressure if he didn't have a time crunch to do it.
Yeah, but think every time Lindsay gave him, like every time she would adjust his time frame, it was like, Lucas, are you ever going to write a book?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Lucas is not the person to be like, you can't write this. Okay, I'll give you another 5 months. Like Lucas is not that person. Especially if Julian already has what was it? A studio and everything already on board.
Mm-hmm.
That's moving pretty fast. So that means
Yeah,
that they need us. They need the script
mm-hmm.
out like yesterday. So like if the studio's already on board. So like for Lucas, it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of have to have it. But also if you can't do it, then you're gonna have to give it to somebody that can.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not gonna like it, but it is what it is.
Well, a good thing he didn't have to end up doing that because he probably would have got mad
Oh, he
at
would have.
whoever that didn't write it right. So
He would have, because it would not have had an emotion to it. The person would. They would just write it as a character in a book.
Personal connection,
Yeah.
And then we go to Haley and Nathan's home with Nathan and Jamie in the living room. Nathan's watching TV. I think Jamie is too. I can't remember what else he was doing. I thought maybe he was coloring or something from my memory. But anyways, he says that he's broke. Nathan says he's 5. He's supposed to be broke.
That was hilarious. You're 5.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be broke. It was hilarious. It's also one of my favorite like little Nathan Jamie moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just so cute.
Yeah. But I wonder why he said that, because he didn't say like, because I want to buy this or that. He just said he was broke. So, I think it was because he was like saving money to
buy Nathan a trophy.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so he was keeping it a secret. Yeah, that's why. That's why he said that. Yeah. So and then Mouth is on the TV talking about the slam ball game, which I'm kind of surprised that they were covering this.
Okay, that's what I mean. Is this news station is obsessed with Nathan Scott, because like, again, we never heard about slam ball until this show, and I'm sure either did people in Tree Hill. So it's kind of like the fact that they're covering every single. I mean, are they talking about when he breathes too? I mean, it's like, come on, guys, like tone it down a little of covering every moment of Nathan's life. It's a little weird, especially when on the news, are they talking about how Dan Scott is out of prison? I feel like that's a bigger headline than Nathan and slam ball.
Yeah, because they were even talking about the Ravens games too. So they talk about everything apparently.
Yeah, but they don't talk. But they don't talk about when the mayor got out of prison.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's just juicy to me.
I don't think Mouth was working at the station then, right? Because he would have been the one to talk about it. So that's probably why we didn't see it, because Mouth wasn't there yet.
Okay, but why are they just keeping Mouth in to keep talking about Nathan so much? Like, don't they realize that they're friends? So, like, all he's doing is talking about his friend on the news.
Well, he's not saying anything bad. Plus, it's his job, and the writers of the show probably wanted to try to put Mouth in the show as much as possible, and this is the easy way they can do it.
No, I get that he's the sports reporter, but like it's a lot on Nathan. Like I would be like, do you have anything else to talk about? Like I'm your friend and you seem to always want to talk about me on your sports reporting. Like there are other things happening. Let's talk about that. It's just a lot about Nathan. Like it's just kind of weird.
And then Mouth interviews one of the players from the other team, Jerome Garrett.
Oh, especially when I do know that like the sports part of the news is only a couple minutes. You mean to tell me in a couple minutes you're only going to just talk about Nathan? Like there's nothing else happening in sports. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Is like it's not a whole 30 minutes of sports. It's not a whole hour where you have to find something else to talk about. It's literally just Nathan for a couple minutes, and that's the only time you have on your sports time. Like, that's a little fishy to me.
Yeah.
And he's your friend. Like, if he wasn't your friend, would you really be talking about it? No. That's my point, too.
Yeah, but it's just his job, so he kind of has to.
No, it's what he wants to cover.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't have complete control over what to say and talk about.
What he can say, I'm sure he can.
I don't think so. And
That's
then,
kind of why he's there, for his opinion.
yeah, so he's interviewing Jerome, who says he's not afraid of Nathan. And the other team apparently has been winning for like 3 weeks straight. And then Jamie tells Nathan that they should give him a trophy. And Nathan says he already told him that they don't give trophies in sandball. And he even checked for him.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm. And then Brooke is at the store trying to think of, what to fill the store up with. I guess she's going outside the box because it should be closed, but it seems like she's taking a good long time to figure this out. But Peyton walks in, and because of the habit of getting gifts from Owen every day, she immediately asks Peyton what she got her. But then when she realizes it's Peyton, she, says sorry, explains about Owen.
Yeah, and then Peyton was like, last time I checked, I was your only customer. It was funny.
Yeah. And Payne didn't know that she was into Owen again. So Brooke says she's not sure if she is, but she likes the presents. So Payne tells Brooke, you know what, Owen did was uncool, but it's uncool that she's leading him on like this too. And Brooke says, really gain advice from the girl who waited 3 weeks to tell her fiance that he's making a movie with her ex-boyfriend.
Payne goes, 3 weeks and counting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Not good.
Yeah. And then to change the subject, she asks Brooke when she get to see her wedding dress. And Brooke says she may not need a dress. They're changing the subject back. Luke is going to be upset when he finds out that she's been keeping this from him. And Payne says she knows, but he's excited about everything, and he likes Julian. So she doesn't want her stupid past to get in the way of this for him. And Brooke asks Payne like how serious for her and Julian, and then we get another flashback. And that's when she went to go see Lucas at his book signing in LA. Saw him with Lindsay, walked out. And then now we see the end of that with her bumping into Julian. So this is the second time that she's been crying when she saw him, and he points it out. So Payne says maybe they're tears of joy, and Julian acts like they are, and she says no. And then, even though this is the second time he's met her and she's been crying every single time, he asks for her to accompany him to a party.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also thinks, because she's always crying, that he'll get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be able to leave because she's not happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny.
Mm-hmm. And then he does end up making her smile, too. So he jokes that if she starts smiling like that, they're going to have to be sick at the party. So she does end up going with him, like, right there and then, because she's wearing the same dress that she was before. And she sees everybody and, that's all dressed up, so she says she feels underdressed. But Julian tells her she looks great, and besides, this is Hollywood. The worse you dress, the more important people you assume you are. And then a guy shakes Julian's hand, and Payne sees how well-known Julian is, and says he didn't tell her that it was his bar mitzvah. And he explains that the party is a fundraiser for a script he's trying to get made. So, obviously, the joke about them moving early wasn't real because he has to be there for the fundraiser. So he actually just, really wanted her to be there with him, even though he just met her.
Well, he's already met her before, but here's the thing. It's like, how old is Julian compared to the rest of them?
I don't know.
Because
maybe 2 years.
Because here, Peyton's what, 20? Because she was 19 when she got engaged. It was a year after was his book. So she's like 20.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian is already a producer, and he does wonder, look, how old is he?
I don't know.
Because most producers are not 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe mid-20s, maybe the oldest, I would say, hopefully.
Yeah, because he ends up with Brooke.
Mm-hmm. So he notices that she got a book with him or with her, and she says she wanted to get it signed by the author because she was close to him. And then Julian asks her, what's it about? And she says, her, sort of.
That was funny.
Yeah. And Julian says he understands why she wanted it here with her then, and he gets her to laugh. And he says, there's that smell again. We're never getting out of here. Joking. And then back to the present day, Lucas is supposed to see Nathan, who's on the phone. He tells Lucas that was a scout who's passing through the town, and he's going to stop by the Sandball semifinal. And Lucas tells Nathan if anyone deserves a second look, it's him. And then he asks if Nathan would be hurt if he wasn't there at the game, because he has to write the script, and it's due tomorrow. Nathan tells him no worries, he'll stay in the championship.
So this is where Lucas asked Nathan, what's the best memory of Dan? He said the day he went to prison.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, you want me to be serious? So this is weird. Like, apparently he met Michael Jordan at his basketball camp, and Dan introduced him and everything and pulled the strings, and then he played with him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in all the years, he's never went and said that. That's something pretty cool. And yet that's something Nathan has never said. And let's be honest, Nathan was very much cocky and I'm better than that. You would think he would love to rub that into Lucas's face season 1. Of this is why you're not cool. This is why you'll never be me. Blah, blah, blah. This is why you want my life. But no, it happens in season 6. It's just, I'm like, where did this come from? Okay. I mean, we get that he loves Michael Jordan. He has Michael Jordan's number, 23. But this was just a little out of the blue for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that was the best memory of Dan. Which I get it, because he did pull the strings to get you your idol. So it does make sense. But again, your best memory of the person is him getting you something. Just saying. It's not like, oh, I love this day hanging out with the person. It's no, this is why. But I did think when he said prison. And then Lucas was talking about this is when he talks about how he doesn't really want Dan to really be have a thought or have emotion.
Yeah, he asks Nathan, or he tells Nathan that he's just wondering if Dan ever had a soul. Nathan says, yeah, he did a long time ago. But to write the man the way he is, evil, is what he deserves.
Which I was surprised at Nathan for that, because again, how close Nathan and Dan are, and obviously a little close because he is letting Jamie around him, that you would think that he wouldn't say that. Lucas would be the one that says that.
Yeah.
Can I write him as evil or the devil? And Nathan would be like, sure. But for Nathan to say it, I was like, what?
And then Nathan's at the river court later when Mouth gets there, and Nathan asks him if he's looking for an exclusive. Mouth says he's there as a friend because Jerome Garrett was talking about putting him back in his wheelchair, at tonight's game. Nathan says he's a bitter guy. He was only a basket away from the Sweet 16 2 years ago, and he got in the way.
Which that would be scary to hear. Somebody wants to put you back in the wheelchair.
And Nathan tells Mouth that he appreciates the heads up that he'll be fine
because Owen's watching him. Yeah.
And then Brooke walks from the store into her car, and she gets in the front seat when she hears Hello Beautiful from behind her. So, of course, she screams and looks behind her to see a naked Owen in her back seat. So, how did he get this idea?
Brooke.
Did she tell him? I don't remember.
No, I think, didn't Brooke do it to Owen?
Maybe. I think so.
Or no, Chase. I think she did it to Owen after Chase, I think, told him about it or something like that. Somehow they thought it was brought up, and somehow I think she did it to him.
Is that where he got what's under the clothes then?
Must be.
Yeah, so yeah, she's yelling at him that sneaking up on a girl isn't cool. And Owen's confused because she thought she'd like it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm a girl.
Yeah. So it's sexy, and he's a huge hairy dude on her leather seats. And that's when she starts hitting him with her purse, and he says at least she thinks he's huge. And then she yells at him to get out of her car.
Yeah, and drives away. And then, of course, there's the cops ready to get him.
Yeah, and she drove off with his clothes that for some reason he didn't grab on his way out. Yeah, and he
I know.
tries
you would think if somebody's kicking you out of the car that you would grab your clothes.
And, yeah, so now he only has like a newspaper to cover himself too. Yeah. And then Jamie's bringing a book to Haley's class, and the bell rings just as he finishes it. And Haley tells her class to read another chapter of their book, and Sam tells Jamie to not tell his mom, but it was the best lecture of the year. And Haley says she heard that. And then she remembers that Sam has study hall next, so she wants her to watch Jamie while she goes to the office. And that's when Sam says anything to avoid economics homework. And Haley tells her no parties and no laughs. And then Sam takes Jamie to the vending machines to get a snack.
So I thought this was a little weird that she could get out of class by watching the teacher's kid.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't the school be like, sorry, Haley, but like, if you're bringing your kid, he's your responsibility.
Yeah, you think she would just be in the class with him?
Well, you would think that if she's got to just run to the office real quick, she could just take Jamie with her. Like, that's a little weird. And then to be like, oh, to another student, you don't go to class, you watch my kid instead. Like, this isn't your personal babysitting, thing, Haley.
Yeah, maybe if it was lunchtime and she went to go get food or something really quick.
Well, that would make more sense of like Jamie wanting to like go and eat with her, and it's lunchtime, so okay. And then she's, teaching him all about money. Like, oh, this is something cool I learned. But like to just be like, no, don't go to class, even though like we know Sam loves to not go to class. So like, what? That's a little weird. Especially because like Haley's always advocating for school. Well, why isn't Sam in school then? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So he asks her what's economics, and she says it's how you make money.
And it was funny because he goes, I thought that's what allowance was called. And she's like, no, you have to work for that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, she says it's just supply and demand, which is what he has. All we need to do is create a low demand, and that's when she puts her used gum over the coin slot of the machine.
Yeah, and then the one guy was like, really? Like, that's nasty. And so she charges him $2 for his snack.
Yeah.
And then Jamie's like, but it's only 50 cents. She's called him the grasshopper, and she said, that's called a profit. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then she gives him a snack, and he tells her he doesn't have $2, so she says it's okay. It's a kickback. It's free. That's what you get when you're in cahoots. Never heard anybody use that word.
Especially a teenager. Like, I've heard of like adults saying it, but I'm like, not a teenager. Especially because like Sam isn't just like a teenager. She's kind of like a more cool teenager. Where she would have like all the new slang words that teenagers use, and I don't think Sam, the cool kid, would be saying cahoots. Like, could you hear, like, could you imagine hearing Q say cahoots? No. So like, I couldn't hear Sam either.
And then with the 50 cents, aren't chips now like at least $1 in vending machines? Maybe even $1.50
or $2? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting close to that price.
Yeah, because when I went to Michigan Venture, when we were at the hotel, it was like $2 for cookies.
Oh.
You know, just like the little bag of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you needed a couple dollars just for that. So it's like, yeah, we've made it to $2, sadly.
Yeah, if Sam did this today, she'd probably ask for $5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then Haley finds Lucas in the hallway where Keith died. And he says that he has to write Keith's murder scene, and he doesn't know if he can do it.
And again, when he says that he can't imagine people in the theater eating popcorn watching Keith get shot, it's like, again, then why did you put it into a book? Because again, people are going to have their own judgments about it.
My question is, why would he accept the movie offer if he didn't want to do this scene?
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. It's like, you are selling your book. Well, if you're selling your book into a movie, then you're selling those rights of every single thing in that book. And if this is a huge thing in your book that you do not want to share, then you should not have ever sold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in the Divergent book series, the main character dies at the end of the last book. So when I watched the last movie, I thought she was going to die, but she never did. So I was like, what the heck? You know, that was a big part of the book. So yeah, just kind of like this.
Yeah, it's like they can either put it in or not. But, you know, it's like, but that's something as the writer of the book that you have to be okay with, of them changing anything they want to change, use whatever they want. Like, that's, you sold it. So that's theirs now. And for you to be like, no, that they can't use that. Dude, you signed it. Like, yeah, it is for them to use now. Sorry.
Yeah, so Haley tries to help him to say maybe that scene could be, you know, used for a catalyst of change or a lesson in humanity. And Lucas says he doesn't want his audience to understand Dan.
Okay, but like, that's my point. It's like, he is so invested in this that he should not be the one to write it. Because he doesn't want his audience to feel a certain way. Well, guess what? Again, everyone feels a different way about every like little thing. So like, if you didn't want this, then maybe you shouldn't have wrote it that way. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, but it is. Again, you can't force somebody to think a certain way. It just doesn't happen that way. I mean, even like the actual One Tree Hill show, there are people that say Dan is the worst human being. Dan is the devil. Dan is this. But then there are others, oh my gosh, other people that are like, oh, he's, you know, he's sometimes good, but then sometimes, you know, he's got the good, bad. We have that love-hate relationship. But maybe that's not how they wanted to write Dan originally, as a love-hate character. But that's how we grew to love him and hate him all at the same time. But it's like, that's what happens when you write. I mean, just like Dawson's Creek. I don't think they wrote Dawson to be the moody one that we all hated so much. But that's who he became. It's like, I'm sorry, but just because you write somebody a certain way does not mean the audience is going to feel them that certain way. It just isn't. They didn't write Joey and Pacey to be the number one couple. That's kind of what they became. It's like, your audience is going to feel anyway, and they're going, and as the audience is going to shift the story. They're going to shift it. It's kind of like One Tree Hill. The fans got tired of Brooke's dating life, where it's kind of like, make a choice. And that's why they finally kept Julian around. It's like, the audience does have a part in this. So sorry, Lucas. Maybe you should have done more research on this before you just did it.
Yeah, he says Dan doesn't deserve to be forgiven. Dan Scott doesn't deserve a spot in Jamie's life. And then he tells Haley he's sorry, it's none of his business. And then he just takes off. And then at the label, Peyton's on the phone. She tells a person that she loves the band and she loves them, but the ship is going to sell without them if they can't cut through the red tape. And then that's when we segue to a flashback, saying the same thing to someone on the phone. Julian is. Then this may come to a surprise to him, but he's not the only producer in town. And we can hear him call the guy Josh when Peyton gets on top of him on the bed. And he tells Josh he knows his line and tells him to try harder. And then he hangs up and tells Peyton that it was a bad idea that he moved in with her. That's how serious they got.
And then they say I love you to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's also big.
Yeah. And then in the present day, Dan picks up Jamie from school. Or not the school, the high school at least.
I thought it was funny though when Jamie was like, he wanted money and he wanted $10, and Dan's like, for what and stuff, and he's like, I guess in business, and he's like, well, that's a lot of money, and then he goes, I'll cut you in, and he goes, sounds like a solid investment. I'm like, what? But it also made me laugh because it took me back to when Nathan was begging for money, and Dan was like, no, you're not a good investment.
Oh yeah.
So it just was funny because this is Nathan's kid, and it just took me back. So it was kind of funny.
And then Lucas goes to the label and tells Payne he's not writing a scene about Keith. And he hopes Julian's bluffing about getting another writer. And Payne actually does why it's so hard for him, and he says he doesn't know what happened in Keith's final moment, so it's hard to, imagine and make it up.
Well, nobody knows what somebody is thinking and feeling in their final moment, Lucas. I mean, I will say, though, when he said, did he feel betrayed? I'm sure he did. I will say, like, no one knows what he felt, but I will say he probably felt betrayed. That's probably one thing that he did feel. I mean, his own brother pulling the trigger. Yeah, you don't really think that of your sibling, or at least you shouldn't. And so I think Keith also didn't realize until that moment how far their relationship had turned. Because remember, it was always just like the cat and mouse game, like, tit for tat, blah, blah, blah. Until that moment, it's like, whoa, it got this bad. And so, because, they could always threaten each other and they would just move past, like, whatever, tomorrow's a new day, haha. But once that happens, it's like, whoa, what happened? And so, yeah, I'm sure he felt betrayed. So when he was going through everything, I'm like, I would say betrayal would be one.
Yeah. So Payne tells Lucas that she loves him and he's always protecting everybody, but he doesn't have to protect Keith. And whatever the scene becomes, she's sure, Keith would rather have Lucas for his last moments than anybody else.
I agree with that, too.
Yeah, he says he just wishes he knew the truth.
Well, you're never going to.
And Lucas is leaning against her and she's holding him. And that's when we have another flashback to when Peyton was holding Julian the same way. And she's having trouble zipping up her bag because she has a lot of stuff. And and Sundance.
Yeah, but then he sees that her book, or Lucas's book, is in there. And she says, I just wanted to read it. And he's like, for like the 1,000th time, like, and then, she's like, it's not a big deal and everything. He's like, it is and everything, but because it's your ex-boyfriend. And I agree with that. Like, that's how obsessed she was over the book, though. Like, that she would take it everywhere, even if she's in a new relationship, which she claims she loves this person, but she would just want to take it around everywhere. That is a little weird.
Yeah, and Julian points out that she still buys every copy that she sees.
Yeah, it's like she's obsessed. It's not good. So I agree. And that's when he breaks up with her.
Yeah, because, she was like, why haven't you read it? Because, I love it so much. And are you curious? And he says he is, as to whether he will ever have a day where he's not sharing her with Lucas. Yeah, so, of course he's not going to read it if she's obsessed with it, over it like that.
Yeah, it's one thing if, like, when he met her, she had the book because, she said she wanted to get it signed by the author. But, like, after that, if she would not have brought it up again, maybe he would have, because it was about her. That's what she said it was. Well, but if you're going to keep bringing it around and he knows it's your ex, Of course he's not going to. If Lucas was going off about Lindsay, would she be happy? No, because you don't want the person that you're with to be obsessed over their ex. So, like, no, he's not going to ever read the book, apparently, until now. Which, did he ever really read the book until now? Like, did he read the book even now?
Yeah, I'm sure he did, because he wouldn't make a movie about a book he doesn't know about. Yeah.
Well, if he's trying to get somebody back or at somebody, he would.
Maybe. Yeah. So back in the present day, Owen goes to see Brooke at her house. She tells him it's nice Brooke there. Or she tells him that nice Brooke would like to apologize for the way evil Brooke acted this morning. And he says that you haven't lived until you've been naked in the back of a squad car. That's, because you got arrested for indecency. And she asks about the gifts,
Yeah, and I thought it was terrible of Brooke to be like, whatever you're bringing today, let's just call it even. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, after what you did, like leaving him naked to get arrested, like, at least you should have, if you had any feelings for him at all, you should have been like, put some clothes on.
Yeah, get in his clothes,
and go. Like, at least have the respect of that, and she didn't. And so it's like, so then to just be like, if you brought me any gifts, it's like, the gifts should be the least thing to like worry about on your mind. Like, seriously? And so I did not like that at all. Like, that's definitely selfish, Brooke.
Yeah.
And then that's when he's like, I didn't bring you any gifts, and I'm not going to. Like, I'm done. And because it was humiliating. And I'm like, yep, I don't blame Owen at all for this. To call it quits. Because, like, all he's doing now is trying to get back with her, and all she's doing is finding it a game. Like, she's in high school. Like, we're not in high school, Brooke. That was high school Brooke moves. But, like, remember when she'd always play with Lucas's feelings? It's like, just like, or remember even Felix, remember? She was like, this is how it's going to go. It's like, you're playing with people's feelings, which isn't nice. And so I was happy that Owen was like, I'm not doing this, because that's very rude. And she's not being an adult, which is what she's supposed to be. Also, she has a foster kid. You would think that she would try to be a little grown up and, teach Sam right from wrong, and that's wrong.
And then at the park, Jamie and Chuck sit on the playground. Jamie offers Chuck to take whatever the snacks he has from the vending machine. He says it'd be $2, and Chuck says, that's a total ripoff. And he says fine, because he'll have to wait till snack time, and it gets up because
Seven raisins.
Yeah.
And then, but it was funny when Chuck was like, that's my whole allowance. And it's like, well, I mean, you did bully him, so.
Yeah.
Like, if it was any other kid, it would be like, oh my God, don't do that. But like, Chuck did bully him, so, it is what he deserves.
Yeah.
It's called karma.
And then Lucas is at a cemetery in front of Dan's grave. Then he grabs a shovel nearby and hits the headstone on Dan's grave.
He was at Keith's grave, and Dan's was right next to it.
No, I just saw him in front of Dan's grave because I saw his picture on there before he got up and got the shovel. But yeah, he was at Keith's grave, and then he couldn't stop by, cause every time he would look up, there's Dan's face. So it's like, okay, I gotta do something about this. Also, how often do you think they just leave the shovels around? Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, somebody like this could go out of hand and wax and ruin somebody else's stones. So I was like, I don't know how often they leave the shovels out, but okay.
And then the next scene, it seemed like Peyton was asked to meet Julian somewhere, but then he says he has a date. So how did she know that he was there at that time?
Kind of weird.
Yeah. But anyway, she asks Julian, why is he there in Tree Hill? As if to get her back. Because she's done lying to him about them. And he says that he wouldn't ruin his reputation over that, and reminds her that he left her. And as far as lying to Lucas, he never asked her to do that, and that's true.
And he goes, I really don't care if he knows about us.
Yeah, he didn't tell him out of respect for her engagement, which I think was the right thing to do. She should be the one to tell him.
Yeah, but I also do feel like he is lying a little bit, because I do feel like he does want Lucas to know. Because he wants Lucas to be jealous.
And then he asks her back, why does she lie to Lucas? Like, is it part of some scheme to get him back? Because he'd be curious if it was, and she doesn't answer and walks away. So that was weird too. Because she could have just said no, like he did. And then Haley and Jamie walk out of his school, and he's telling her that what he did was called supply and demand. And she says, no, it's called taking advantage, and it's not very nice. And then he gives her a snack and says, it's a kickback. It's hers to keep if she's in cahoots. And she says she's most certainly not in cahoots.
That was funny.
Didn't he learn anything from this book? Treating his friends well is more important than extorting them. And he asks what's extorting. So Haley tells him he's learned enough economics for one day. And Jamie says that he just wanted to buy his dad a slam ball trophy.
And that's when she feels sad for him.
Yeah.
Because he was only trying to do something for his dad.
Yeah, she says he's sweet, but he's too smart for his own good. And Jamie asks if this means that they're in cahoots, and she says no.
Nope, he has to give all of his friends their money back.
Yeah. That was funny. She said that she's gonna spank his little cahoot if he doesn't do that, yeah. And at a slam ball game, Nathan and another player from the other team give each other books. Jerome, that's the drum. And so Owens doesn't he does watch Nathan's back by knocking down the guy and going after Nathan while he has the ball. Nathan makes a basket, and Owen makes sure to keep blocking the guy so Nathan can keep scoring. And so does the other guy. And then now they get more rough with each other. There's a break. Nathan keeps looking around, and Owen asks who he's looking for. So he says that there's a scout supposed to be there, but I guess didn't make it. And Owen says he thought this whole time he was just showing off for him. And Nathan tells Owen that he thought he was showing off for Brooke. And Owen says it looks like they're both showing off for people who don't care, because Haley and Brooke are talking to each other.
Yeah, so then he said, how about we play for the people that do? As in Haley and Jamie.
Yeah. And then, it was cute when Nathan looked and Jamie was waving at him and Haley blows him a kiss. And then Lucas
that was funny. So Lucas is on the river court. So Dan walks up and he's like, cemetery called. Apparently someone gave my tombstone a makeover. Now, how does he just assume it's Lucas?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
He probably knows that Lucas is the one that actually really hates him, that would do something like that, because after all, he did aim a gun at him once before, so.
Yeah. But yeah, it was funny. And then that's when Lucas told him about, the book and what he has to write and everything. And he wants to understand, but he can't understand. And then Dan tells him. And he says, Keith was a hero, and basically write the truth and everything. And then he says that because Lucas says, like, why'd you do it? And he said, every good story needs a villain. I'm sorry, but I'm yours. I'm like, oh my God. Like, the fact that that's your biological father who's your villain. Like, it's just crazy. Like, like, no matter how long it goes by, it's always going to be crazy.
Yeah. And then at the next slam ball game, Nathan has the same guy go after him, Jerome, and knock him down to the ground before he can try again. Owen pushes him away. Nathan goes to make a basket, but fakes it to Owen, who gets pushed against the wall by the other guy. And Jamie tells Haley he's worried about his dad. And she says she is too, but the game is almost over. And then Brooke has Jamie sit on her lap, and because she said it was a secret that she hasn't had him in her lap lately. And Sam makes a joke like that's not really a secret. And Brooke tells Sam it's Jamie, not me and Owen. And Sam then tells Haley she's sorry for teaching Jamie how to make money off of, his friends. She just wanted him to think she was cool. She didn't mean to get him in trouble.
I like when she said that he looks up to her, and she should be a role model to him. which obviously makes Brooke think.
Yeah. And then Owen gets knocked down again. Timeout is called. The coach tells Owen he's out. Nathan tells him he's okay.
So he's out because he keeps getting knocked down?
I guess. I don't know.
I didn't really know why Owen was thrown out.
I mean, he was like blocking people. I didn't see him like pushing anybody back. So yeah. So Garrett tells Nathan that now it's just the both of them. 15 seconds, one basket. And he asks if that sounds familiar. Nathan says there's only one difference. Unlike him, he won't choke. And then Lucas is at his desk looking at the picture of his younger self and Keith, and then he starts writing the scene. And then back at the game, Nathan in the basket just as the buzzer goes, which means his team won by 2 points.
Yeah, and then the guy pushes Nathan through the glass.
Yep, gone the same way he did from his accident.
Yeah, and then so this was sad though. Like Jamie comes running down, leaves Haley, comes running down to go see Nathan.
Yeah, because he even got through that crowd and even over that gate. I didn't think because it was kind of high. I didn't think he'd be able to get over that.
Yeah, he jumped over it.
Yeah. Yeah, he made it look kind of easy. And then Haley's, behind him.
Yeah. And then
all right.
And then Nathan's like, I'm all right, like moving his legs and stuff. And it was so like, it just like broke my heart, like for Jamie when he's like, like, I don't want you to play slam ball anymore. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that was sad.
Because
like Jamie, Jamie didn't see the first time.
Yeah.
When he was thrown, but he saw this one. Not good.
Yeah. And then Julian is looking at his copy of Lucas's book. When he looks at the picture, he still has a pin and Peyton in it.
Yep. So that's the thing, is he's not over this.
And then after the game, Owen gets in his car to find Brooke in his backseat now. And he says he liked it better when she was naked. So yeah, she did do this before. And then she said she liked it better when he was the guy she thought he could count on. And then she said she's sorry she should have never let him bring her presence if she wasn't sure, she saw a future with him. He asked whether she could see now, and she said she can't answer because she sees Sam, up ahead making gestures to go up, go for Owen. And she tells Owen that she sees her foster child acting like an idiot. She has her work cut out for her. And Owen tells Brooke he's crazy about her, and Brooke tells him that he's a great guy who has the potential to be a great boyfriend. And Owen realizes it's not going to be her boyfriend. He's not going to be her boyfriend. And she said she didn't say that, but it's just right now she has that opportunity to be a great role model for Sam. So she has to put her first. And Owen says he can respect that. So now she took Haley's advice. And then he asks what about down the road. Brooke says, but I like him. She might just be coming, calling back. And then she says she'll see him and gets out of the car. And that's when he says PlayStation, pizza, pinball, and pie. His video game, fast food, arcade, and dessert preferences. Brooke says she'll keep that in mind. But then we know, of course, he doesn't come back. And then Lucas goes to Julian to give him the scene where Keith dies. Julian tells him he's not going to regret it. And then he gets a call. He tells them that the script is done. They're going to love it.
So he like walks away to take the call. And then that's when Lucas sees the picture.
Yeah. And now
now he knows.
And at the station, Gigi probably has drunk all of those bottles of beers. I'm surprised they're even allowed to bring that to the station because they're supposed to be working, but
I guess
go home.
I guess because no one's around. It's just the two of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's time for after hours. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but Gigi tells them that they have everything they need to pull an all-nighter. And he says it sounds like fun, but she should get home, or he should get home. And Gigi tells him don't. And Mouse tells her he had a girlfriend and still doesn't walk away this whole time. And Gigi says she doesn't have to know, and they're face to face now. Mouse starts to walk away now, but Gigi pulls him back to her. She tells him that she's not trying to be his girlfriend, she's just trying to be the girl that he's gonna pull an all-nighter with that nobody ever has to find out about.
Oh my god, I can't with her.
Yeah, and he doesn't pull away this time. And then Brooke and Sam are walking in the hallway of the high school, and Brooke tells Sam that she's proud of her for this. Because it's one thing to make your mistakes, but it's another to make them right. So, Brooke thought she was going to put the snack back in the vending machine, but all Sam does is open it and puts a sign that says free food. And she does this while Brooke has her back turned to her when she was getting water. Yeah, so then she tells her that's stealing and whispers while covering her face and says there's probably a security camera in the lounge.
Yeah, and she's like, it's broke. And she's like, how do you know? She goes, because I broke it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was funny because like Brooke's like, you're a good mom, you're a good mom.
Yeah, but she took some snacks. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, she took a snack. Like, really, Brooke?
Mm-hmm.
That's also
Yeah.
called stealing.
Mm-hmm. She probably just ate something Sam grabbed at least, but yeah. And then she didn't even close it, right? The door of the vending
Nope.
machine.
Still wide open.
Yeah, just remember that. She could have just closed it. Nobody would have known. Yep. And take that little sign out too. But Nathan walks back into the court of Sandball and says he's in one piece to Jamie. And Haley says, I don't remember that, but Jamie says that he was scared. He was gonna be like before, and Nathan picks him up and says he's not gonna be like that again.
Yeah,
You know, it's not worth it.
I thought it was so cute when he said that if these are the last 2 trophies he gets, he'll consider himself a lucky man. And I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie says good because he made all his profit back. And he explains family started a business today, so Nathan asks how did it go. And Jamie says he broke even and Grandpa lost his shirt. So I guess he was like, what does that mean?
Because he probably had to give Dan's shirt up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But Lucas gets home to Peyton reading his screenplay, and she says it's great. Julian was right. He, needed that scene. And she asks what made him change his mind about writing it. So he says he realized it wasn't about a murder. It was about how your heart breaks when your hero dies. And he's okay with the rope doing that now. And Payne says to Lucas she needs to tell him something, and that's when he puts down the picture of her and Julian in front of her.
And he goes, so you dated in LA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she says that they were in love. And he shakes his head.
Like, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, like he didn't ask, but was it serious? He just asked if you dated him. That was it, yeah.
Yep, all you had to say was, yep.
Mm-hmm. And then we don't see any more after that, because that's where it ends.
Mm-hmm. So for me, the high, I liked the moments between like Sam and Jamie. They were cute together. I would say that the low was Julian and Peyton. I really didn't need to see all of that. I think it could have been shortened because I don't feel like it was that serious. And also because we're moving on to like Lucas and Peyton being happy, blah blah. This is their last season. We don't really need to throw Julian in this. And then obviously when Nathan was thrown through the glass again was my love.
Yeah, those are mine too.
And then what would you rate it?
Like 8.5.
Oh, I'm gonna go with 9.
Mm.
And then your best and worst?
I put the worst was Peyton because she wasn't telling Lucas the whole time that she dated Julian. And then the best was Nathan because he made the decision to stop playing slam ball so he could, be, able-bodied and be there for Jamie and Haley. So he gave that up for them.
For me, the worst was that guy that threw him through the
Jerome,
glass.
yeah.
Because he could have re-injured him.
Mm-hmm. And he only did that because his team lost, so that was stupid. He should have, I don't know, been suspended or something if they do that in slam ball. But
yeah, so I didn't like that. So he was definitely the worst. And well, I mean, especially because earlier he had said, like, I'm going after him. I'm gonna make him be back in the wheelchair. Like, that's just like, how old are you?
Yeah, that was a threat, yeah.
Yeah. And he followed through with it. And then the best.
Well, Haley gave Sam and Brooke their advice of being a role model.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of Haley and she did try to talk to Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And she made Jamie learn a lesson about it.
Yeah.
She was kind of teaching lessons, I feel like, in this episode. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Haley was definitely, for me, the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's next episode?
Episode 10, even fairy tale characters would be jealous.
Oh.
So maybe something about this triangle, love triangle, or like the
Probably.
past of it, of her and Julian.
Yeah, probably one or the other.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.